It's the exact opposite. The longer you've been in it, the less respect you get. It's weird. I don't know.
There is some kind of truth in that, in the sense that America is very youth-oriented culture. So everyone gets really excited about the new actor, if they're good. Ooh, the new thing. Ooh, this is the new person. If you've been around for a while, as long as you're still working, you have respect. But you're only as popular as your last job. It's harder also for, like, as you get older, because if you do a lot of young voices and you just don't sound as young anymore, you lose out on all those jobs. And there's more characters that are younger. Like, there's not so many old lady characters, you know?
Thanks. Your question?
You guys mentioned that video voice has a lot more freedom to do different things. You also mentioned the one-liners that are sometimes not part of the scene context. How often, as performers, maybe something as a director, are you able to add or say, hey, can I try something this way? And then how often you as a director are open to that, knowing the writer might not be too happy to change anything about it?
It's funny, because me, as a personal philosophy, I'm always wanting to do what sounds the most natural and what sounds best. If a line just sucks, I'm sorry, I really want to change it. However, that's assuming that I have that authority and that power. And most of the time when I am directing a game, I have not only producers, so I have producers who has hired me from the studio. Then I also have the client who hired the producer in the studio. Then I usually have, like, a writer from, you know, whatever company also there. So you don't want to piss off the writer, so you're not like, your line sucks, but you suggest, maybe we could say this, or this feels a little bit better, and you kind of have to defer to them, and it's really up to them whether or not they say yay or nay. I think that there's a fine line, because in the interest of time, you don't want to rewrite every single line, but you do want the piece as a whole to be good and natural sounding, and if the lines are bad, or even sometimes it's not even the lines are bad, but maybe the actor is just not feeling that line and has some sort of block or something, and it comes out a little bit more naturally if it's said a different way. Like, I am all for that, as long as I have that power, and I don't always have that power.
That question reminds me of when we went in to do Halo 3. There's a scene, cut scene, where Masterchief finally kills Guilty Spark. And when we were doing that scene, I read the line as is, or the whole scene as is, and then, sort of playing off this whole Clint Eastwood thing. I said, what if we do a Dirty Harry? Well, I suppose in all the confusion, we've kind of lost track, and I'm not sure how much I have left in my gun. Is it 5 or is it 6? Are you feeling lucky, punk? We did this whole thing and it came out great, and they used none of it. So, I don't know, maybe Clint Eastwood went crazy about the idea, but we played around a little bit. But to be honest with you, most of it was pretty close to the script as it was written.
確かに台本にセリフ書いてあってそれを言うのは間違いないんですけども、言い方とか間の置き方でセリフの印象ってとても大きく変わるので、役者によって完成形がとても違ってくることはあると思います。
The lines are usually followed in the script, but then depending on the way that you say it or the way you put emotion in it, and also where to put the pause creates a completely different impression often. So that differs a lot for different actors.
でそれで僕は基本的にディレクターの考え方を重視するというか、ディレクターに全部従う主義で、これは大丈夫かな、これでいいのかなと思っても、ディレクターがいいと言えば、ああ、いいんだなと思ってしまうから。
And for Koki, he often just goes with what the director says. Although he might be kind of thinking like kind of iffy on some kind of line, but as long as the director says that's good, then he just goes with it.
Next question.
The first part of my question I actually had for you about being a director and everything. Is there any way to get an actual demo to a director, like voiceover demo? And then the second part of my question is for everyone. Besides having connections, what would you say would be the best thing you could offer to get into video game voiceover?
Sure. In terms of getting demos to directors, you would just have to like meet them and give your demo to the director. Hi, nice to meet you. And I've done the same thing. You know, I went to both GDC and South by Southwest, and I met the director of Assassin's Creed. I handed her my demo. I met with the producer. I met, like I said, hi to introduce myself to the producer of Uncharted 2, and you know, I didn't have any demos at that point, but like followed up. Like, so yeah, that's part of networking and being an actor. That said, though, not all directors have casting power. It varies. Some directors have a lot of casting power, some don't. So that's probably not going to be, like, if that's all you do to try to break in, your odds are not so good. So it's probably better to also get an agent, and that's going to be your highest. I know you're going to be competing with everybody else, but that's going to be, like, going to increase your odds, too, because most of the domestic games, the audition calls go out through agents still, you know. And all the stuff that's direct, it's because they've already worked with you as a voice actor, and when they're on a project, they call you in. So if you're starting out, that's not really a way, you know, unless you do some really special thing, and then that's a way to get the foot in the door. But that's, you know, like, if we're casting for, you know, we need a 50-year-old African-American woman who raps. I don't know that many voice actors, you know, like, and then you also want to be socially responsible, so you want to call in as many African-American women as possible, you know. So when it's something specific like that, or it's like, oh, we need somebody who can also speak Hmong, you know, like, that's a good way to, like, get your foot in the door. If you're really spot on about accents, that's a good way to get your foot in the door, to be introduced to somebody who would not normally be seeing you people. So.
I don't know if I can add much to that, but yeah, I think the getting an agent part is a big deal, and yeah, having something unique to offer. If you know, you have certain voice qualities that you know, are something different, or like you said, you know, dialects or, you know, accents, or just a quirkiness, something that's just unusual, that'll get people's attention. Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, that's nice. Keep your eyes on that.